The reason your offense feels clunky and you can't seem to consistently score in college football 27 is because you're not using the 5 offensive tips that I'm breaking down in this video. Whether you want to know how to use the new catching systems or the best run plays to run through entire defenses, I've got you covered in this video, so don't skip out on any of the tips and tricks I'm breaking down today. Let's jump right into it. The first tip I want to break down are the new best offensive settings here that you need to understand what they do and use here in CFB 27. Let me show you. Alright, so settings can be done in this game on the main menu, and they can be done here in practice mode, like coaching adjustments at the line of scrimmage. So the first one I'm going to be breaking down here, you can do in your coaching adjustments, untarget user defender. Please turn this off. Alright, I'm going to turn it on here just so I can show you. Really, when this game, before it came out, I thought this was going to be a great feature, I'm not going to lie. Just because now, if we look at play art, you can basically see who their user defender is going to be. Because you're reading the flame icon. So right now there's 3 flame icons, but if they change user defenders, now there's a flame icon over the defensive tackle, which means if you look at the play art for a long period of time, you're going to know that, okay, that flame icon wasn't there before, so that guy's blitzing. If they go here, now there's a flame icon over their D tackle, so I know that that's their user. So basically, it's built-in identifier. Now you see it's over the head of Reese. So normally, like if I block my running back, now there's only going to be 2, and so it's the other one's just going to be whoever their user defender is on. So that's going to tell you who their user defender is, which would be great if they're like clicked onto like an outside corner, right? Why would outside corner? He would never have a flame icon over his head. So if they're using like an outside corner to like stop like an RPO over here, well now you know that they're over there, and so excuse me, you know that that's their user, and now you can't call it. The problem that gets created though, and the reason why I say, like, that sounds good, but the reason why I don't like it on is because you play against too many people who either get caught on their defensive linemen. So they're going to run like cover 3, and they're making all these adjustments, right? But then you quick snap them, and they're on their defensive linemen. Okay, so that should be good for you, theoretically. But now what happens is he just walks in free way too often. Now that time they decided to block the defensive tackle. The flame icon is correct about 80% of the time. Whoever has the flame icon, that guy ends up coming in free. But it's just like, why are we allowing guys to just walk? And look at this. Like, he's just going to walk in the backfield untouched because he has a flame icon over his head. So you don't want to let that happen. Also, they can just very easily user rush you, right? If they have a flame icon over their head, they can just walk right in free or open up a lane for someone else. So it just makes your pass protection pretty poor and just not that good when you have that turned on, because the random guys will just walk in your backfield if they decide to blitz. Also, if you run the ball, then that guy, now whoever their user is, can just walk in free. Right, so we look at play art, this guy's just going to be able to walk in the backfield free and dive tackle me. So it's like, that's a setting you want to make sure is turned off, both in the run game and the pass game, just because it's really not that useful. And you can always manually untarget their user defender if you're playing against like a heavy blitz and they're not actually blitzing like from double mug. So that's what I would recommend you do. So really make sure you have this setting turned off. And let me show you another setting that's really important that we'll also talk about later in the video. And so this can also, like I said, be done on the main menu, but I'm going to come into settings, game options, scroll down until I find timing based catching minimum throw distance for offense. All right, you want to make sure that this is either on 0 yards or 10 yards. When you first get the game, or when you're practicing with timing based catching, I'll show you how to do it later in the video. Make sure you stick around for that. But as far as the setting goes, understand that if you have it on 10 yards, you need to know that every pass you throw past the line of scrimmage, you're going to have to time that catch. And if you put it on 0 yards, that means that every pass you throw, regardless of where it is, it's past the line of scrimmage, you're going to have to time it. And so we understand that getting a green catch would guarantee basically a catch, and if you have it on, like, if it's a yellow catch, that's basically how it was in previous years, where it's kind of up to ratings, and then a red catch you would never catch. But if we just quickly go through one example here before I break it down later in the video, we're going to see I have it on 0 yards right here, which means I basically have to time this catch, right? And it's going to be a really fast meter. So that's why I say, like, you might not want to put it on 0, because the shorter the pass is, you're like, look at that. Like, that meter is so, it moves so fast because it's a really short pass. So I just prefer to have it on, because basically you're just tapping it. You're just, if it's this short, like the pass is under 10 yards, you're basically just tapping the button versus like holding it, you know, later in the video, but you're just tapping it, you get that green. So I don't really think it's that useful to have it on 0 yards right now. I'd have to play around with it more. I have mine on 10, but those are the best offensive settings that I would recommend that you're using that are new here. Making sure you have untarget user defender off and you're using timing based catching on 0 or 10 yards depending on your preference. Alright, next I want to break down the foundation of passing the ball here in college football 27. If you get this wrong or you're not nailing this specific feature here in this game, it's going to cost you for the rest of the year. Let me show you what I mean. Alright, so what I'm going to be breaking down here is going to be pocket presence, alright? And the reason why this is so important in this game is because this is a year where EA decided that if you just take the snap, your quarterback automatically drops back, like right there. He automatically does like a little drift back, and that's like a 5-yard drop. So it's like, that's cool in real life, I guess, but in this game, this is bad because this makes it harder to throw passes down the field when you're drifting that far back. So we call basically any play, like RB's open here, but now when I go to throw it, the ball's in the air longer, and so then number 3 is able to break on that pass. So that's a great example of why you need to have good pocket presence here. And so the way that you're going to do that is by flicking your left stick up as soon as the ball snapped. They cancel your drop back and then step up. So boom, baby tap, step up in the pocket, and now I'm able to find my guy. And that's also why time-based catching does not need to be on 0 yards. So let me change it back to 10. But back to pocket presence here, it's like you need to make sure you're canceling your drop back, stepping up so that you can make it easier to go through your read progression, right? So we're going to put them there in man coverage here. We call our play like a drag for our tight end can beat man. But when I'm drifting too far back, it's like that's going to make it harder and you're going to take really bad sacks. Also, understand how good quick jump is in this game. Like number 0 here on the edge has quick jump. And so when you're drifting back, you make it easy for him to go get you instead of stepping up the pocket and actually throwing your dot. So again, it's just a baby tap of the left stick up. You're going to be able to cancel your drop back and actually go through a read progression and then actually have a chance to find your guy open. Now, you are going to have to beat man coverage or whatever coverage they're in, but pocket presence, canceling that drop back is really going to help you. Now, if you're new to this game, you really want to work on your pocket presence, right? The best drill that I recommend for everyone is coming here into practice mode, putting the ball at the 1 yard line, because if you drift back, like you let the game drift back for you, or you drift back on accident, you're going to step out of the back of the end zone for a safety every single time. So really putting this ball at the 1 and also passing the ball from the 1, like the goalpost is kind of in your way. So it's like it makes it a little bit harder to pass. But now you actually have to go through your read progression and make sure that you're stepping up in the pocket, trying to find guys open down the field and not taking these really bad sacks that can absolutely kill drives, right? Drag routes are always, pretty reliable. Basically just going through your read progression. All stuff we're going to talk about here all year long, going through read progression, but it all starts with pocket presence, taking the snap, canceling your drop back, and then that's what allows you to use timing based catching because the ball is not going to be in the air as long and the ball is going to be more on a rope. Also, lob passes are terrible in this game. Like, the quarterback will underthrow basically every pass and allow a defender to basically undercut it. So you don't want to throw lobs. You want to step up in the pocket and throw a lot of bullet passes or free form down the field. But pocket presence is really what's going to unlock your passing attack. Alright, so if you found those first 2 offensive tips helpful here in College Football 27, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down CFB 27 tips and tricks just like this every single day to help you guys get better, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have. But if you want my full 4-5 man pressure defensive ebook to transform your defense here in CFB 27, plus all of the tips in this video in written form, you can save everything including the ebook on your phone during gameplay and never have to go surfing through a video. Go to the link down below in the pinned comment to join CFB University, where you can use code YouTube to get your first month for 20% off. Again, everything has full videos, screenshots, it's a written breakdown to save on your phone and always reference, so I highly recommend you check it out. Let's jump right back into the video though. Because next I'm going to break down the feature that everyone wants to know about. BLT, how do I use timing based catching here in CFB 27 because it's brand new to the game? And let me tell you, it's very, very important that you get really good with this. Let me break it down. Alright, so again, we are going to come into our options, come to our settings. I already talked about this earlier in the video, but again, I want to reiterate, I like timing-based catching for offense on 10 yards. All right, I told you 0 yards early in the video could work, but you can see how you basically have to green drags and the meter moves fast. So what I want you to understand is the meter is, so you have to basically time it in the green window. And so this is going, make sure you're paying attention because this is kind of complicated here at first. It gets simpler, but if I throw a curl route right here, right? So I walk up to this guy and I'm going to throw my curl. That meter to catch is going to move a lot faster than if I'm throwing a 30-yard crosser down the field. So we're going to put them just in cover 3 cloud. I'll put a hard flat in the field. I'm actually going to spy off the pass rusher that I have all day. What I want you to pay attention to is, what you're going to see with this meter is going to be a lot, like, it's going to move a lot slower because I'm throwing a pass that is deeper down the field. And so that gives me a better opportunity to green it because it's slower. Now, that could also mean that the defender also has a better opportunity to green it as well, so you want to understand that that's a possibility for you. But the simple fact is you're just trying to green that pass, get it in the green window, the meter, and so that's going to nearly guarantee that you catch the ball here. Now, again, I don't want to green passes that are under 10 yards because it's not too often that they drop those, especially if they're wide open passes. But when they are over 10 yards, you do want to green them because they also give you better rack animations. But you're probably asking, BLT, how do I actually green? So really the best way that I like to explain this is you're going to press the catch button that you want to use, and then you are going to hold, or excuse me, you're going to press the receiver's button. So if I want to throw to Ryan Williams here, I would press X just like in any other game that you played. But then once the ball's in the air, you want to start holding the button of the catch type that you want to use. So let's say I wanted to throw to Ryan Williams and I wanted to rack catch it. So what I would have to do here is I would have to hold the catch button until it gets into the green window, and then that's when I would release it. So we're going to take the snap here, we're going to step up, and hopefully we can get time to throw next time. But we're going to take the snap, we're going to step up, I'm going to hold the button, and then I let go of it in the green. So really what I did right there was I threw to X, right? And then I held X when the ball was in the air so that I could green that pass, and then I let go of it once I saw that it was in the green window. I've seen way too many people tell you guys, just tap the button, right? All you have to do, like when the ball's in the air, I just like to use the tap method. No, that doesn't work. The reason why the tap method doesn't work is because you're not going to be holding the button for long enough, right? And so really what I kind of mean by that is I'm actually going to try to use the tap method here, where boom, we take the snap, I just tap the button. It's not, basically the window's not going to get all the way to the green because you're just tapping it. Let me show you. So really what that looks like here, if I try to use the tap method, boom, throw it, and I tap it and use, I mean, that was an inaccurate pass, but you see how that meter was, it wasn't even close to the green. It was like immediately. So it's like you have to actually hold the catch type in order to be able to get a green pass. So we go with it again right here, and we are going to just take the snap right here, step up in the pocket, and now we're going to see it green, and then I'm able to bring that pass in. There's going to be so many passes that you throw. They're going to be guaranteed catches in this game because you green it. Instead of this pass would have been a contested catch last year, which could have easily been a drop. So you really want to make sure that, again, you're tapping the button. So I threw to RB right here, so I just pressed RB, and then I'm holding X right here because I want to rack this ball, and I'm holding X until it gets into the green. And once it gets in the green, I'm going to let it go. When I think it gets to the green, I'm going to let it go, and then if I do get that green catch, I'm going to probably reel it in about like 92% of the time. So really, that's how you're going to use timing-based catching here, why it's valuable, the best settings to use. And again, it's going to take some practice for you, but don't use the tap method. That's absolute nonsense. Make sure you're pressing the button, holding it, and then releasing it once it gets in the green window. Alright, so if you found those first 3 offensive tips helpful here in College Football 27, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down CFB 27 tips and tricks just like this every single day to help you guys get better, and we're going to be doing it all year long, something other creators aren't going to be doing. So what are you thinking? Go down below, hit that subscribe button, and let's jump into those final 2 tips. Because that next one is going to be the most toxic and overpowered run plays here at CFB 27. The run is really good in this game, and you need to be mixing it into your main scheme. Let me show you those plays. Alright, so we're going to start with gun power eye tight. Alright, this is the most toxic run offense right now in this game, and it's the toughest to stop. So this is only in the power spread in West Virginia playbooks. I know I'm using Alabama here, but these are the playbooks that it's found in. Alright, and my favorite plays here are halfback. We're going to start with halfback toss. Alright, the reason why is because you're able to basically get 3 tight ends on the field and a fullback. And look at their alignment on defense. If we were to draw a line at the center position, basically they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys on the left, or excuse me, on the right side here when we're going to call a toss to the left. So really what you're just going to notice is you're going to have massive numbers advantage over to that side, and so that's pretty often going to make it to where you can just rip off big gains. Now, I would always recommend that you call this the wide side of the field so that you have plenty of room to go with your ball carrier. Having the Ole Miss running back or having some of those elusive guys, you know, in this spot is going to make this a lot better for you. But what you're also going to notice in this game is that pancakes are insane. There's basically no logic as far as who can get pancaked. There's no weight threshold, no overall threshold. I've seen Kent State pancake Georgia when Georgia's in goal line. So it's like there's nothing. And so you're going to see these pancakes all the time. Now, it's certainly not going to be guaranteed, but it's like, but you see how basically a tight end just walked up there and pancaked a corner. Right, so now you're going to see how if we can just get to the edge, this is going to be an easy game. I've never really played a game since like Madden 20 where the run is this overpowered, and it's really not just this run, right? There's other runs, there's other formations here, but the bottom line is you need to be running the ball, and this just happens to be, you know, one of the best schemes to do it from. Really having good stick work, working on the speed boost is going to, you know, drastically improve your ability to run the ball, but you're able to just see how, oh, look at these, we'll look at the replay here in a second. Pursuit angles are terrible. Number 3 did a terrible job of running down there and trying to make that tackle. So all of these things in combination with each other is what makes the run so good. Right, you're able to see, look, this guy, number 70, just pancakes. This is a linebacker. Boom, run up there, pancake him. This is a great double team block. And then you're just able to see how this safety, horrible pursuit angle, which happens all the time in this game. So, again, all of those things in combination with each other is what makes the run so good. But then also, you have halfback dive, or actually, no, we'll go quarterback blast. So really what you want to do, you want to go to the packages and put your D tackle at quarterback, because now when you call quarterback blast, this is going to be really great for you in the red zone, because now the ball's at the 2-yard line or the 3 for a 2-point conversion, and you're going to have your defensive tackle here just running downhill. Now, this looks like a pretty small defensive tackle. West Virginia, which is what this playbook is, really, they have like a 350-pound D lineman, so he just falls forward and he can air truck, and it's just absurd. But you're able to see how my running back just pancaked a linebacker right there. So that's exactly the type of stuff that I'm talking about, which is what makes the run game so good. And it's like, passing is fun, passing is what I enjoy doing, but you have to understand that you need to run the ball in this game. It's that good, it's that easy, and it just makes it a lot easier to score touchdowns in the red zone. It makes it a lot easier to pick up easy yards. But again, not really too much to break down with this specific play. It's just a quarterback blast. You have a defensive tackle at quarterback, which makes it a lot easier to fall forward and pick up easy yards in the red zone. Look, I mean, I just have, like, their D tackle just gets pancaked immediately to create an easy lane. So understand that the run, all runs really are great in this game because of improved blocking, terrible pursuit angles, but these are just two of my favorite here from the West Virginia playbook. Alright, and the last tip that you need to master here on offense right now in CFB 27 is actually being able to beat man coverage. If you play online or sometimes even offline, you're going to notice how good man coverage is in this game and how brain dead it is. So you need to be able to beat it. Let me show you exactly my favorite route to do it from. Alright, so there's a lot of pretty good man-beating routes in this game that we're certainly going to talk about all throughout the year here and in future videos, but the best one that I've found and the most reliable is actually going to be these crab routes. So reverse flats is what some people will call them as well. PA Scissors has one right here. There's some other plays that could potentially have one, like if we come into trips tight end, I think I saw one here. Let's see. Well, I know Bunch X Nasty has a couple, but if you just look at the play art, you're going to know what that looks like, where the running back is basically running a flat across the field. So tight open's a great example, and so they're going to be in random man coverage. Now, what you're going to notice is some crab routes, the running back just runs out to the flat on the opposite side, but here, this is a play action play. So when I take the snap, he's going to run this route, and he still actually gets open, but he doesn't actually create that much separation because I had to carry out a play action first. But what you can do is, so like I said, some plays have this reverse flat where there's no play action. He just beelines out to the flat on the opposite side. But if it is a play action play, you can just put your running back on a chip and release route, and now he's basically going to run out to the flat a whole lot sooner and, normally be able to create separation. Now, you might have to hit a skill move, in order to make that guy miss, but the reality is he's not getting pressed, and so it's going to be harder for him to get boxed. Like, look at that, where that guy was manned up from across the field, and so the defender bumped into a guy, and so that makes it a lot easier for you. Versus if you just call a regular flat to the same side, like a normal table route, that's not going to be open. We know that man coverage creates a lot of bumping, and so being able to run that really quick ship and release route, crab route here, is going to make this a lot better for you. Like, again, right here where we're able to get out into space, horrible pursuit angle by that linebacker, and so now we pick up easy yards. So it's not to say like he's going to rip off a huge gain every time, but if you just put this on the field all throughout the game, this is going to be a really great play for you. Now, this isn't the greatest man-beating route concept around the running back route, so I would probably just change that, adding like a mesh concept, so maybe something like this, or maybe putting my tight end on like a curl route or something like this, maybe, just so I have some other man-beating options. But now you're just able to see how you're going to have that, crab route, the chip and release, and then you're potentially going to have some other routes built around it. So, again, put the tight end in a curl, take the snap, step up here, and then we're going to throw that, and again, hopefully be able to make him miss as well. Sometimes you're just banking on a horrible pursuit angle by that guy, but we'll go with it one last time. If he's not open, like he doesn't create separation, like the defender does a good job guarding it, which can happen, right, then you just look to some of your other routes. But right here, yeah, I'll just look to my drag underneath because that ended up getting open. So it's really like just understand that this route can create bumping, or other routes can create bumping and leave it open. Or sometimes you just have to end up, hitting one of your other routes. So that's why I never say base your entire play around one route, but you're able to see how he can create leverage out here to the sideline. This would have been a great time actually to hit it because the defender bumped into someone, right? So we would have had leverage out here to the sideline, but either use a stock crab route like from Bunch X Nasty, or put your running back on a chip and a release route if it's a play action based play that does happen to have a crab route. Alright, so if you found this breakdown helpful of 5 tips to transform your offense here in CFB 27, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down college football 27 tips and tricks just like this every single day to help you guys get better, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have. But if you want all 5 of these tips in written form to save on your phone during gameplay and never have to go surfing through a video, plus my new defensive ebook to transform your defense as well, go to the link down below in the pinned comment to join CFB University, where you can get your first month for 20% off by using code YouTube at checkout. Again, full videos, screenshots, write-ups are attached to help you on both sides of the ball in this game. And if you want to see a preview of what CFBU actually looks like and what's inside of it, check out this short video I made for you. I'll see you over there. Peace.